Okay. And looking out a bit into the future, what do you hope to achieve or plan to achieve over the next few years? Like if we were to talk to you in 2026, what would you hope you like PlasGate is by then?
Um, for me, we want to be the leader in this, cloud mobile communication gateway in the next, 3 to 5 years. Because there's no such a company or real technology for Cambodia. Um, for other country, they have it, but in Cambodia, we don't really have it. And we want to be, an ecosystem provider for the enterprise customer, for the SME, for the, tech company, so that they can interact with their customer. Uh, this is, what I am dreaming about. So that's nothing else. And yeah, it's the, the impact that we provide to the community here, because um, without us, it could be hard because they may use the international gateway, something like that. So they don't have local support and local touch for their business. So uh, yeah, so we want to be in the next 3 to 5 years that
Mm.
we will be the main ecosystem driving this mobile communication in Cambodia.
Okay, and over the next few years or so, will you be looking to bring on board outside investors and like trying to scale the business further? Or are you at this point at a point of profitability, or you've broken even that you don't require like future fundraising?
Even though we are now profitable, sustainable, but we still, limited with the resource that we have, and we cannot move fast. I will not rule it out, for the fund or investment from the outside investor. I am open, but sometimes it's very difficult as well because one thing is not easy, but sometimes some investor they think like short term return of investment, but for us um, we are thinking about long term. So we are actually looking for long term investor rather than short term investor, because over a short period of time, I have to be honest that we cannot give the return back of investment in a short period of time. But for a longer period of time, I think we can, and probably we can give back at a very high rate, based on my forecast and project.
And with that, I mean, that's really exciting to think about in terms of anytime you want to raise capital, you want to make sure that you do have a long-term partner and someone that's going to be there for the full journey. So, in the case that you will be raising capital in the future, yeah, it'll be really interesting to learn more about that. As we transition to the last part of our podcast, it would be great to start or to ask a couple of interpersonal questions just to get to know you a little bit more and kind of figure out some of the ways that you navigate life on a personal level. The first of that being is, you know, being a founder, being a leader. What are some of the ways that you are able to stay grounded among all the hectic craziness that probably goes on in your work life on a day-to-day basis? Moving on to the last section of our podcast, would be great to ask you a couple of interpersonal questions. The first one to start with would be, what are some of the habits that you follow to stay present or stay focused in your life, whether that's personal or work?
Uh, for that one, I would say uh, usually there are a lot of distraction. So as I said, if you want to do your project, you have to keep believe in your project so that you can stay focused. And if you don't believe in your project, then you may get distraction easily and you may lose focus easily. And I think focus, hard work, and dedication are very important for the startup owner to succeed. Maybe sometimes it takes longer time. That's why as a startup owner, you have to be patient. If you lose your patience, you lose everything. You lose your focus. You lose your dedication. You lose your hard work. So you have to be patient and you have to work hard. And I always learn around from the people and take the best idea from the people. What can we do? What can be done? What we gonna do in the future? Like one of the a few words that I learned from like Elon Musk. Like he said to me, not he said to me. He said to the people, anyone can follow you, no matter how good you are. But the thing is the pace of innovation. This word remind me all the time. Pace of innovation. It's very important that you have to innovate yourself. You have to be ahead of your competitors. That's the most important. And I actually apply this approach with PlasGate. We want to be ahead of our competitor. We want to be ahead of the game. We want to move fast so that our competitor cannot catch us easily. If we are slow, then they can copy you, they can catch you easily, then they can outpace you anytime.
Yeah, that's funny that you mentioned Elon Musk because both Max and I have read his recent biography that's come out. And one of the takeaways that we often find ourselves going back to is this maniacal sense of urgency. And it's an interesting concept because when you say it, it feels like kind of crazy, but at the same time, you realize that if you really want to be successful, or if you want to make sure you're getting ahead of any problems that will just kind of like drag along and ultimately bring down the business in the long term, you have to be that person that has that, because otherwise no one else will, and most people don't have that. So that's a good takeaway that we always go back to and discuss whenever Elon comes up.
Yes, I agree. And cost is also one of the most important factor in running business. Especially startup, because you cannot just spend money, around like some big company. You have to make it right. And I see, sometimes even myself, spend money, not in the right direction. That's why controlling your costs and spend your money, in correct way would help, to maximize your margin and your profit too. And some startup, they just spend money. But sometimes they spend money not in the right way. So you have to think carefully. And some startup, they don't care about saving costs. When you have good product, when you have good, I would say good service. But if you cannot save costs, you cannot compete with your competitor, because your cost is high. So you have to be efficient and you have to be fast at the same time.
Yeah, that's a good point. I feel like an early stage startup, you have to be scrappy and you have to try to figure out solutions with half the cost. But there are times where you could get sucked into the shiny object syndrome, where a certain tool or like a certain solution that looks good, that might cost a lot, is the right decision. But um, you know, but maybe that could lead to potential acceleration of cash burn for the business that you didn't anticipate before. And so that, funny enough, that's another takeaway from the book, is that you can always probably find a solution for a lot cheaper. You just have to really have some creative people that are smart around you and hiring the right team. So,
Correct.
yeah. Are there any, other than Elon from the sound of it, but are there any other um, advisors or mentors that you look up to, whether it's those that are around you in Cambodia or other maybe public figures around the world that you like to speak with, get advice, get feedback, or just learn from?
So far, I, you know, I didn't really, have like mentors and like that. But I have, shareholders and I have team. So I simply, keep, listening to them and discuss with them, especially the customer. Of course, I'm in the business community, so I always keep watching and learning from people around. I have a lot of friends in startup, in or doing other things, and also keep watching all the business people around the world. So I keep takes what are the good thing and for me. And like as I said, not just Elon Musk, but some of his advice are good, that you can take and consider. And I learned a few things from him. Um, so it's very beneficial that you can apply it into your work, into your business, because it would benefit you a lot. Like the pace of innovation, it pushed me, it motivate me a lot. Also, um, cost saving. One of the experience that I learned at my previous company. It helps me. It reminds me all the time that I have to be very efficient in doing things. Otherwise, it would be difficult to compete when you have higher costs. It's impossible for you to compete, especially in this nowadays business. It's very comparative. It's very challenging.
Yeah, fully agree. Is there an item or application that you use every day that you could not live without?
I think calendar is very important for me, because I rely on phone and calendar. So tasks and like that, I always put it on my calendar, so
Mhm.
that it reminds me. I can see it every day, and I can mark it, which one I have done, which one are still planning. So I think calendar and tasks are very important for me.
That's an underrated answer. I feel like the calendar application that I
Actually, phones, calendar notes, and like that, tasks are very important for me, because I just know in there and I know what to do.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, you can use notebooks and other things, but I think I'm quite convenient with the calendars tasks, with
Mhm.
the phone, so it's easy for me. But I
Yeah.
still have my notebook, to write something down. But for important things, I always have it on my calendars to do it.
Yeah. Max has this pen from the 1960s or 1970s that I'm wanting to try to write a couple notes with at some point. So, yeah, so looking forward to that in the near future.
Sometimes, I sometimes don't like, complicated things or complicated technology too. I try to do something or try to use something that is simple, easy to use, something like that. And I like cleanliness. So I don't like, complicated software and like that. Sometimes just need a simple application and things.
Yeah, that makes sense. And our traditional closing question that we like to ask each of our guests is, what's the most important piece of advice that you've ever been given?
Okay, that's a very good question. For me, as I said, to start a startup, to think about it, it's easy. But I would encourage the startup owner to think twice, but not in a negative way, in a positive way. I still encourage people to do startup because that would help the economy, would provide impacts to the community and the country. But you have to be very passionate with your dream, with your work, with your job. You cannot just start a startup, with just like you got pressure from the work that you are doing, or maybe you want to compete with other people for when you see them, they are succeeding and you want to compete with them like that. But you have to have your own dream and you have to have your own passion. You have to like what you are doing. If you don't like what you are doing, you may not succeed because you may get tired. You may lose your patience. You may lose your focus, and you may give up. So you have to fight and face with it. So that's what I advise to the startup owner. But also at the same time, you have to be cost efficient. As I said, cost is one of the most important thing in the company. When you be able to control your cost, then you can build your services and products with a better price. So you can compete in this case. But of course, your services and products have to be attractive to the customer at the same time, and your dream has to be big, but sometimes not every dream is big, but you have to believe that it's a big dream for you.
Yeah, that's true. It's if you have a vision of the life that you want to live, or the product that you want to build, or company that you want to build, you have it takes a lot of commitment, and that's something Max and I always go back to as well. It's like something such as a podcast. Really a big part of it is being consistent. Being proactive and wanting to meet with more and more people, learn more, kind of have that hunger. And yeah, that's a great takeaway to finish the episode off with. So, Sotha, thank you so much. It's been a huge pleasure to speak with you today, to learn about PlasGate. We're really excited to see the future of the company as well as yourself. And yeah, look forward to catching up soon.
Yes, thank you for your time and the opportunity for giving me to the podcast. And I really appreciate it. And yeah, thank you.
Yep, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good day.